speak in general principle, in abstract. You know, it tends to address things in abstract things or in general principle. That's why it's called Manhaj al-Mutakallimin. And the very clear example for this, you know, you take, for instance, Kitab al-Amidi, you take Kitab al-Mustasfa lil-Ghazali, for instance. There was another method, and this is normally, or to sit, Manhaj al-Ahnaf, or the method of the Hanafis. The people who came after Abu Hanifa, but they followed his school, what they used to do, they will take the principle, right, and they will not apply it straight away. They will take into account, you know, what is reported from their imams or from their earlier generation as hukm. You know, remember we said fiqh deals with ahkam. Usulul Fikh deal with the original or the foundation of the hukm. Okay, what the Hanafi did, said, take a bit of this ahkam, which is a part of fiqh, and add it to the general principle to make it more to the point, or make it more clarified. Say, I give you another example. Say, for instance, you know, if you are dealing with a, say, for instance, a physician, right, and he is telling you, say, for instance, you know, if you are diabetic, say, for instance, reduce the intake of, for instance, sugar or carbohydrate or something like this. That's the general principle. That's Usulul Fikh, right? But if he add to this, he says, you know, look at Muhammad. He reduces his intake of sweet or sugar or fat. You understand? So the general principle which limit your intake is more clarified by adding the case of Muhammad, you know, because it will be more feasible, it will be more, you know, perceivable. You understand?
Examples.
Or example yeah, the example always explain what you mean. You understand? There was a third orientation or third methodology, and that is to combine both, a bit of this, the Manhaj al-Mutakallimin with Manhaj al-Ahnaf and so on. And for every one of these, you come across, when you study Usulul Fikh, when you come across some books promote this method, some books promote the second method, some book promote the third method, and so on. Right. Now we will move to another point. And I would like also to give you one example, you know, to make the difference between these methods very clear. You know, when we are going to study Usulul Fikh at later stage, we will discuss the relationship between the linguistic significance and the hukm dormant in the text.
Yes.
You understand? So when you have a text, like the word, say for instance, Qur'an, that is a text. والمطلقات يتربصن بأنفسهن ثلاثة قروء. قروء is the plural of قرء. So the word قرء, do you know how to write it?
قاف
قاف را همزة on the line. قرء.
قاف معنى what does it
It
mean?
means a period.
Period.
Yes. So this, they call it in the from the linguistic point of view, they call it لفظ مشترك. لفظ مشترك يعني ايه؟ What does it mean لفظ مشترك? It means it signifies more than one thing. So the word قرء, it means period. Period of what? Period of bleeding, when the lady is bleeding, having her period. Or period of cleanliness, after she finished between the two bleeding period. You have some imam saying this, you have some imam saying that. And consequently, the period, the span of the iddah is different in different schools. You find some imams say iddah, it may run up to 3 months. Some imams say it is 2 months. You understand me? So, however, take another word from mushtarak. Say for instance the word عين, عين, يا, نون, عين. It means your eye, the seeing eye. But also it means spy, the jasus. Because the spy come and look at the things or something like this, the spy. Ain also means gold or silver. Ain also means well, from which you take the water. You understand? Ain also means very important person in the society. When you say أعيان المدينة, أعيان المدينة, which means the important personalities in the city. So the word عين, you call it مشترك. مشترك means it signifies more than one thing. Now, in the Shafi'i or in the متكلمين, in the method of the متكلمين, right? المشترك, like عين or like قر, or like the word مولى. You know the word مولى? ما, ميم, واو, لام, يه, مولى. مولى, I'll explain the word مولى also. So the Shafi'i says, or the متكلمين says, the مشترك, like the word مولى, right? It does not necessarily include all what it signifies. So in certain cases, that mushtarak means only one or two things. Say, for instance, when you say ما رأيت عينا اليوم, I did not see any eye today. You understand? We said the word the eye signifies eye, seeing eye, signifies well, signifies spy, signifies currency and so on. But when you say ما رأيت عينا اليوم, what does it mean? Does it include everything? I did not see money, I did not see a spy, I did not see meet anybody, I did not see important person. No, it does not have to include everybody. You understand? So, that is the principle in the Shafi'i school or in the Mutakallimin methodology. Al-Mushtarak does not or is not applicable to all what it signifies. But the Hanafi add to that to say it does not include everybody except in the situation of negation. If it is preceded by particles which negate the subject. You know that in Arabic, negation means the word negation in English means nafi. Yarhamukallah. You know what the word nafi mean, Frank? Nafi.
Negation, yes.
Yeah, negation. You say it right. So, and there are certain particles in the Arabic language to indicate negation, like la, لا رجل في الدار. No man in the house. ما هنا رجل. لن. There are many particles and so on. So that what the Hanafi say, al-mushtarak, if it is not preceded by negative word, right? It includes everybody.
It include everybody.
It includes everybody. If it is preceded, if it preceded, right? If it is preceded by negative, it does not include everybody. If it is not preceded by negative, it includes everybody. I give you an example for that to make this point clear. You know, take the word mawla. Do you know what the word mawla means? Yes.
Master?
Yeah, master. But it's called also the liberated slave. So it means both. The master who liberated somebody, right? He is his mawla in the sense he protected him or he liberated him. But also the word mawla is used for the liberated person. It's called mawla in the sense of allegiance. You liberated me, I have allegiance for you or to you. I have sincerity towards you because I remember that you liberated me. Right? This is the word mawla. It means liberator or liberated. So suppose you said, Anna, you made an oath. You will not speak to the Mawla of Hanif. And suppose Hanif, he had the master liberated him. And God gave him a lot of wealth and so on. He changed his position. He himself liberated some others. Other liberated him. He said, why not? I liberate others. Okay? So if I say, I make an oath, I'll not speak to the Mawla of Hanif. Right? So what the Hanafi say, if I speak to Muhammad, to Salih, because he's Mawla Hanif, right? I am wrong. If I speak to Muhammad, whom Hanif liberated, he's his Mawla, I am wrong. So I am wrong in every situation I deal with that Mawla. You understand? Yeah. Right. Take another more important example. Suppose Hanif left wasiyah behind. to say this building to my Mawla. Right? And he has Mawla who liberated him. He has Mawla whom he liberated. So his wasiyah, how we are going to apply this wasiyah?
What is wasiyah? What does it mean?
Wasiyah means a bequest,
A bequest.
or will.
Okay.
Will or bequest. You know what the Hanafi say? The Hanafi say this type of wasiyah is invalid. It could not be applied. Why, ya Shaykh? He says yes, because the word Mawla, as we said, it includes both. And the person who made the wasiyah did not specify before his death whom he meant. Right? So we cannot give it to the master because maybe he didn't mean that.
He didn't mean that.
So the master doesn't deserve it. We cannot give it to the one who liberated because maybe he didn't mean that. So we end up with, here is the wasiyah, but we don't know to whom it belongs. So it is invalid. It cannot be effected. It could not be applied. Right? But the people who adopted the first method, they say, okay, look, we should implement it for the interest of the master. Why you are saying so? Why ya Shafi'i or ya Salih you are saying so? Yes, because normally the master made him a favor by freeing him. So when he made the wasiyah, he's paying it back. You know, and this some sort of indication or some sort of silent indication what he meant, whom he wanted to give this wasiyah.
But it's assumption.
I know, but it is more, I mean, toward that end. It makes sense to say, he was helpful to me, he granted me liberty, now it is time to be back. And normally, that is the situation. But the Hanafi says, no, stop. No. Normally, people try to help the weak. So when Hanif said this for my Mawla, he meant the person whom he liberated. Why? Because normally you make wasiyah for the disabled. You make wasiyah for the disadvantaged one. See, can you see how the fuqaha used to debate and their evidences and their ideas conflict and so on and so on. However, it is just an example to show you how the methods sometimes differ, and that is, although because you may ask or a question may happen in your mind or occur in your mind. How come this is the principle? But it is, people explain the principle in different way. Principle means it's general rule. But how come these fuqaha, interpret it differently? This may occur to your mind, and it's logic if it occurs. If it is natural if it occurs. But such example which I gave now, enlighten you, make your mind open up and say, yes, it is possible it is possible not to include everybody. It is possible to be interpreted differently and so on. Right. What is the subject matter of Usulul Fikh? 4 things. First, the evidences of the ruling. Usul al-Ahkam, or the sources of the hukm. When I tell you something, then you say, what is the evidence? ما هو دليلك يا أستاذ? In my answer I say, yes, you read in the Quran this and that, or the Prophet said this and that, or maslaha dictate this and that. So this is the sources or the evidences of the ahkam. And the evidences of the ahkam as follows: the Holy Quran, the Sunnah, the Ijma', the consensus, Ra'yu al-Sahabi, the opinion of the Sahabi, Al-Qiyas, Al-Istihsan, Al-Maslaha, Al-Urf, الشريعة السابقة, الاستصحاب, about 10 things. الكتاب means the Holy Quran. The Sunnah means the statement or the action or the approval of the Prophet, peace be upon him. Ijma' means a consensus of opinion. Ra'yu al-Sahabi, the opinion of the companion. Al-Qiyas means the analogy. The Istihsan means preference. The preference of the jurist. Maslaha means the public interest. Al-Urf means the custom or the practice of the people. Al-Shara'i' al-Sabiqa, the previous messages of the previous religion. Then al-Istishab, which means continuing with the original situation. All these are sources.
Which one the last?
Al-Istishab, the continuation of the original situation. All these are sources or evidences of the ahkam. But not all of them are accepted by everybody. You find some people don't accept the qiyas. You find some people does not accept the urf. You find some people does not accept the shara'i' al-sabiqa. So not all of them are acceptable by everybody. And not all of them are of the same degree of importance. They are given in priority.
So main sources are 4: Quran, Sunnah, Ijma' and Qiyas.
Yes, that's what normally you hear. That's what normally you hear. You know, but there are certain people, especially now, in nowadays, in our time now, you find many of the young people, or if you go to the internet or you go listen to satellite or meet with the young zealot people, they see only the Quran and the Sunnah. Muhammad the other day was asking me, can we accept Ijma' as a source of law? Can we accept Qiyas as a source of law? And I said, yes, He said, but no, because the Quran and the Sunnah is enough. And you come across many people like this. You may come across some people who say Quran alone is enough. You know, they don't accept the Sunnah as a source of law. They accepted the practical Sunnah, but they don't accept the oral Sunnah. You understand? So not all these evidences are acceptable by everybody. And not all of them are of the same priority or of the same importance. This is the first thing that we are going to discuss on Usul Fiqh. Al-Adilla fil Ahkam. The second bit, Al-Ahkam itself, the ruling themselves.
How do you write this akam?
Sorry?
This word akam. Akam?
Ahkam. Alif, Ha, like Hassan, Kaf, Alif, Mim.
Okay.
Can you pronounce it now?
Al-Hakam.
Ahkam.
Ahkam.
It is a plural of what? Frank. Plural of what?
لا أعرف.
You should know by now.
الحق. الحق.
حكم. حكم. حا كاف ميم. حكم.
Okay. حكم.
Something
Ah.
just name.
حكم.
حكم and the plural is أحكام.
I know of me.
Right? Right. So al-ahkam, which means the fard. And what is al-fard?
Okay, obligatory duty.
Obligatory.
Yes.
But what is it? Every hukm is obligatory? No. The obligatory, which is you draw from authentic source, clear in his significance. For instance, Rabbana, Allah subhanahu aqimu salah, which means you establish prayer. That is fard, because the source is authentic. That is the Quran, and the significance is also clear. Right? That is al-fard. You have another degree called al-wajib. What is al-wajib? In many schools, you find wajib synonymous with fard, except in the Hanafi school. They differentiate between fard and wajib. Fard is needed 100%. Wajib is needed, say, 80% or 75%. And they say the evidence of the wajib is a little bit not clear. It's not that very clear like the fard. The significance is not very, clear like the fard.
It's not as strong.
Or the origin is not necessarily 100% authentic and so on. Right? That is wajib, fard and wajib. Anna. Oh, Muhammad, how are you? How is Maryam? How is Shabana? Okay, good. Okay, so then after that the Sunnah. And we knew the Sunnah in Usulul Fikh means.
So, excuse me, what's the wajib in Hanafi school of thought?
Wajib
What's
al-Dhan.
wajib the definition?
Yes, الدليل الظني.
ظني.
الظني.
It could be ظني ثبوت or ظني دلالة.
Yeah. الدليل الظني. We said the Sunnah,
Yes.
and when we say the word Sunnah in Usul al-Fiqh, It is different from when we say sunnah in fiqh. You understand? Sunnah in fiqh means something if you do, you will be rewarded. But if you don't do, you will not be punished. Say, for instance, you offer zuhr, that is fard. You offer 2 rak'ah before it or after it, that is sunnah. That is in fiqh. But in usul al-fiqh, means sunnah means what? Means the statement of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, or the action of the Prophet, or the approval of the Prophet, approval of the Prophet.
A statement, action, or approval.
Yes, the action, statement, action, approval. Then we move to, say, for instance, ijma'. And is ijma' possible? Well, first of all, what is ijma'?
Consensus.
Consensus of opinion. But is it possible? It is humanly possible. All people agree on something. There are some faqih who says, no, there is no question for ijma'. Ijma' does not exist. Because you cannot guarantee the ulama of London are the same like Birmingham, like Manchester, like Aberdeen, and so on. Maybe there is someone in Scotland has a different opinion. So some of the jurists say ijma' does not exist. You understand? We will discuss all these. So this is the second point we are going to discuss.
So for ahkam, we discuss mubah as well.
Yes, of course. Yes. So we said now fard, wajib, sunnah, makruh.
Ijma.
No, we are speaking about ahkam now.
مكروه المباح.
Yeah. We said fard, wajib,
Sunnah,
sunnah, haram,
haram.
makruh, halal. There is a third point we are going to discuss. Who are those people who busy themselves with usul al-fiqh? In other words, who are al-mujtahidun? So we'll discuss this question of ijtihad, what it means, and how many types it is. And what is the qualification for mujtahid? This is another subject we are to discuss in Usulul Fikh. So we'll discuss the sources or the adillah. We will discuss the ahkam themselves. We will discuss the people who deal with that. And the last point we will discuss about the purpose of the Sharia. What is the purpose of the Sharia? Or maqasid al-Sharia.
Nowadays, this question is very important. What is the qualification of mujtahid?
That is very important.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. And can we accept it? Al-Mujtahid al-Fardi? Can we have one scholar as mujtahid about certain hukm? Or we accept the hukm passed by a group of scholars together, like an institution or like a council or like a college, or we will discuss that when we come to it. The last point we are going to discuss is maqasid al-ahkam, maqasid al-sharia. What is the maqasid of sharia?
This is very important.
What is maqasid al-sharia, ya Sheikh? حفظ الدين, protecting the religion. حفظ النفس, protecting life. حفظ العقل, protecting your mind. حفظ العرض, protecting your honor.
حفظ الدين، حفظ العقل،
حفظ النفس.
حفظ النفس.
حفظ الدين, حفظ النفس, حفظ العقل, حفظ العرض, حفظ المال.
honor بالعربية
عرض عين وكسرة عي, را والسكون ضاء, لا ضرب, عرض means honor. So these are the basic things, and when you reflect on them, you find again Islam came up with two parallel lines